What is up, guys? My name is Augustine from DFO, also known as a bit of full opinions on Instagram, and we're back with a prediction video, something that we haven't done in a while. As you guys know, literally today, an hour ago, the UCL round of 16 draws happened, and we got some exciting matches. We got a lot of things to watch out for. We got so much to look forward to, and I'm here to predict the winner of every single game. I'm gonna predict who will advance to the quarterfinals. I'm gonna give out my reasoning why, and we're gonna see how many I get correct. Keep in mind, this is my opinion, and I'm bound to be wrong about many of these, as I have been in the past. But of course, you're more than welcome to go down to the comment section, debate who you think will win these matches and why. Why do you think I'm wrong? Why do you think I'm right? You know, just talk amongst each other, debate, do all that kind of stuff in the comment section. I'll be there reading everything. But without further ado, let's get into some predictions. First off, we got Atletico Madrid Chelsea, and this is such an exciting one because it's so 50-50, or at least people think it is. It's definitely going to be a really exciting match. On one hand, we've got Chelsea, who have done decently in the league as expected, and who also finished first place on the relatively easy UCL group. I do gotta highlight that 4-0 win against Sevilla with that Giroud poker. That was incredible. And on the other hand, you got Atletico Madrid, who up until this Saturday, they were unbeaten in the league, and they were also league leaders. Of course, this changed when they lost 2-0 to eternal rivals Real Madrid, and because of this loss, it's gonna be really tough to predict how this team is gonna bounce back from that and see how they approach this upcoming month. Keep in mind, all of these matches are gonna happen in February, so it's 2 months from now. It's gonna be really tough to see how Atletico Madrid will shape and change in those 2 months. Same thing with Chelsea. Atletico Madrid have done very well this season, and they're still definitely a side to be feared. They've reinforced their team very much by adding Luis Suarez into the team, and just seeing Joao Felix be on fire once again and be that Joao Felix that we all started praising back in the day. That makes Atletico Madrid be a side to be feared. They've kind of moved away from being that defensive style football team that nobody enjoys watching, and their attack is now a huge threat for a lot of European sides. They do have one of the strongest attacks in Europe, in my opinion, and if I have to put my foot down, I think I have to give the win and the pass to the quarterfinals to Atletico Madrid. Why? Because I think it's going to come down to European experience, and I think Simeone and his team are just thriving under that department. I think they're much ahead than Chelsea, you know, Lampard and his team. Chelsea are still kind of establishing. They've done well in the league, but they haven't been too constant in some fixtures. They're still a growing team, as I said. I think come February, Atletico Madrid are still going to be the top team that they are, and Chelsea are still going to be in this stage where they're still trying to find their football and trying to grow as a team. They've done a lot of summer transfers, and I just think Atletico Madrid are a more established team. They're a more experienced team, and those two things are huge factors when we're talking about UCL matches. So if I had to guess somebody, I know it's going to be very 50-50, and I think it's going to be one of the most exciting matches in this whole draw, but I gotta go for Atletico Madrid. Next up, we got Barcelona PSG. Everyone wanted Barca to be drawn against Bayern so we could see that 8-2 happen again, but they got PSG. It's definitely still going to be an exciting match. We got a lot of poetry in this match. We got Neymar coming back to Barcelona for the first time ever since he left. We got Messi about to face the French Giants, even though he's highly rumored to be leaving to their team this summer. This is also the first time they're going to face each other ever since that famous UCL comeback a few years ago, that 6-1 that nobody will ever forget. In my opinion, I think this is the most exciting draw out of the whole UCL round of 16. It's exciting because neither team are at their best at the moment, especially domestically. PSG have somewhat struggled in the league. They're not at the top like you would expect them to be. They've had kind of their rough patches, but for the most part, they're still that PSG side that most of us still consider a top team. Of course, you gotta mention that they made it to the UCL final last season, and they were pretty close to winning it had they not faced that OP Bayern side. Though PSG did top their group of death, knocking down Leipzig and Man United below them. And then on the other hand, you got Barca, who have struggled a lot more than PSG have. They're sitting 8th after 11 matches in La Liga. They finished 2nd place in their group after just losing 3-0 to Juventus in that last match. It's very clear that Barca are going through the rougher patch, and that rough patch might prolong to a few more months if Koeman and the guys don't do something about it. Right now, as we all know, it's mostly Messi carrying the team, as well as some other players out there trying to give their best, but Barca are looking worse as the days go by, and this is one of the worst Barca sides that we've seen in practically a decade. Every time they seem to be finding back their form and becoming a more stable team, they just go through another rough game, another shocker of a game, maybe lose 3-0 against Juventus, or just have a really bad game where they get exposed and they just can never find their form. Possibly come February, Barca will have improved as a team and will find their feet. Maybe they'll break in that top 4 of La Liga, but it's going to take a lot more than that to beat PSG, a team that was in UCL final literally a few months ago. We got to admit, PSG is a tier ahead, and I think they're going to beat Barca possibly in both legs. Individually, PSG are slightly ahead, and as a team, they're also ahead by a lot more. I do believe PSG is going to advance, especially if recently injured Neymar does get to be on the pitch come February. Sorry, Barca, but I got to give PSG the win. Moving on to Sevilla versus Dortmund, this is another 50-50 draw that is going to be definitely exciting. Dortmund did top their group, even though nobody in their group was that convincing. But I do got to bring up that they lost 5-1 to Stuttgart recently in the league, and that led to the sacking of their manager. These next few weeks are going to be crucial for Dortmund to see how they shape and how they approach this upcoming important part of the season. Perhaps they will grow as a team and get better, because domestically they have not been the best. Even though they did top their group, I think Sevilla, despite finishing second, they've been a bit more convincing, and just the fact that Dortmund sacked their manager, when it comes to being ready tactics wise and just having established style of play, I don't think Dortmund are going to be ready come February. I think Sevilla are just they have a bit more experience and they just look more convincing. So if I had to guess, I think Sevilla's going to go through. But you never know, because getting a new manager could change a lot of things, either for the best or the worst. So I guess we'll see how Dortmund shape in this next few weeks. Atalanta versus Real Madrid is the next clash, and oh my god, we were robbed of such an amazing game. This would have been amazing if it was happening 6 months ago. You guys know I used to have a soft part in my heart for Atalanta, or maybe I still do, I don't know. And I gave them their praise last season, during the whole season basically. I even predicted that they were going to win against PSG last season, and I was 5 minutes away from being right. Of course, that didn't happen and they bottled it, but they were such a strong force last season. Unfortunately, this season, things have changed a bit. Their level of football hasn't changed too much. They're still up there, but the thing is, they've gone through some locker room problems. Gasperini has had a problem with Papu Gomez, their forward, their Argentinian center attacking mid. There was a little bit of a fight, and some sources are reporting that Papu Gomez is gonna leave this January. This fight also involves Ilicic, who is pretty much just not happy with what's going on in the locker room. There's a lot of sources saying a lot of different things. Some sources have even said that Gasperini has tried quitting. He even officially resigned, but then the board talked him out of it. And it looks like either Gasperini will leave this summer or Papu Gomez is gonna leave January. So I think Atalanta are such a great side. It's just they're going through problems outside of the pitch, and it's affecting their on the pitch performances. They've had a few rough games that they should have won in this season, especially in UCL. So they're not at their best moment right now. That's why I said if Madrid were to have faced Atalanta last season, it would have been such an amazing game. Now things are a bit different. Now let's talk about Madrid. Madrid have been a bit weirdly inconsistent this season, but they seem to be bouncing back from their lack of form. Just when everybody thought that Madrid were going to get knocked out of UCL or maybe head down to Europa League, they beat Mönchengladbach when it mattered, and now they recently beat Atletico Madrid 2-0 in their derby clash in the league. So this might be the point of the season where Real Madrid just wake up from their inconsistentness, is that a word? And go back to being the Real Madrid that we fear. And in Europe, that's a big deal. Nobody wants to face a Madrid that is on form in Europe, and it really sucks for them that Atalanta is going to have to face Real Madrid, who happen to be, getting better on form, while Atalanta is going down because of locker room problems. I do believe that by February, the situations in Atalanta are going to be worse, and the situations in Madrid are going to get better. So logically, I got to give Madrid the win just because of all these factors. So yeah, the Spanish Giants advance for me, and Atalanta get knocked out of the Champions League. Next up, we got Porto versus Juventus. I actually don't have a lot to say about this clash. I know you're probably expecting me to, because I'm a Juve fan. Seeing this draw got me pretty happy, because with all due respect to Porto, I think this is a great opportunity for Juventus to challenge themselves and grow as a team and get better while comfortably advancing to quarterfinals. To be honest with you, I don't watch Portuguese football, so I don't know if I should fear Porto this season. I just know that they haven't been too convincing on the UCL. Yes, they finished second in a group with Man City. I think we all expected them to finish second, and I see them third in their league. I can't tell you much about them, so I know that I have a few Portuguese members of my audience in my community, in the DFO community. So if any of you are Porto fans, or if any of you watch Liga NOS, then just let me know down in the comments how this game is going to shape up, because honestly, I don't know much about it, and I think we're going to advance. I think Juventus have slowly found their form and have landed on their feet little by little. I'm not saying they're a team to be feared in Europe you know, a team like Bayern or PSG or something like that. But I think slowly we are finding our football back, and we're getting better under Pirlo. And I think come February, we're going to be a slightly better side, and we are going to be ready to take on a challenge like this and advance to quarterfinals. So I got to give my team the pass to the quarterfinals. Sorry, Porto, for not knowing much about you. Next up, we got Leipzig versus Liverpool. This is one of the two games that I think are definitely underrated, and I think a lot of other games are going to steal the spotlight out of this game. The popular opinion is that Liverpool will advance, and even though I agree with that, I think Leipzig are definitely a force to be reckoned with, and I don't think people should underrate them that much. We saw what they're capable of last season, and we've seen it this season as well. Liverpool are somewhat struggling to find their form from last season in the league, and if they don't do something about this come February, I think this match is going to be a lot closer than people think. If I were to predict, I think Liverpool will bounce back and will get better results, but I still don't think Liverpool are going to, you know, just go through Leipzig as if it's nothing. I still think they're going to win, but I do think it'll be close. Next up, we got Mönchengladbach and Man City, and I'm doing them next because I think it's the exact same thing as Liverpool and Leipzig. It baffles me how a lot of people have started making jokes that Man City always get the easy draws and how they got Mönchengladbach and that's pretty easy, but no. Has anybody seen Mönchengladbach this season? The people who have watched them in the Champions League, they know they're the dark horses of the competition. Yes, they drew City and they may not advance, and I do think City will advance, but we've seen what Mönchengladbach are capable of this season. They were close to top in their group. They were in the group of death, in my opinion. They've gone against the likes of Inter and Real Madrid and have done very well against them. Then you got City, who have struggled a lot domestically, and they're sitting like 8th-ish something. And I believe if Guardiola doesn't plan this game ahead and starts messing around with his formation like he did against Lyon last season, I think this match is going to be a lot closer than people think. I think Mönchengladbach played pretty beautiful football, and this is going to be just like Leipzig-Liverpool. This is going to be a lot tougher than people think. Though just like in that game, I'm going to give the English side the victory, and I am going to say that Man City is going to advance, but again, it's going to be very close. And last but not least, I got Lazio versus Bayern, and I'm going to give an upset, and I'm going to say the Bayern are going to get out. I'm just kidding. No, they're not. I don't really got a lot to say about this one. I know that the popular opinion, including my own opinion, is the Bayern are still the strongest side in Europe. They've shown it in the league this season. They topped their group against Atletico Madrid, and you know, they never really struggled against Atleti other than in that last game where they rested a lot of their players. So yeah, Bayern are still definitely probably the strongest side in Europe, and that won't change for a while. Of course, anything could happen in the Champions League, but Lazio have not proved to me that they're a force to be reckoned with. They have not proved to me that they can keep up their form from last season. They're sitting, what, 9th in Serie A or 8th, I think, right above Atalanta. And even in Champions League, they didn't prove to me that they could do well either. I mean, they had Dortmund in their group, but Dortmund haven't been that convincing either, and Lazio could have topped the group, but you know, they didn't. They're not really giving me convincing performances. They're a solid team. You can't really underrate them, and it's a game against them could be tough, but I don't think it'll be tough for Bayern. I'd love for an upset to happen, and I would love to see Lazio knock out Bayern, but I don't think any of us are expecting that to happen. So obviously I gotta give the pass to Bayern Munich, and thanks for participating, Lazio. I'll see you next year. Oh wait, no, I won't, because you're not qualifying. And that is all 8 of the matches that we've got going on. That is who I think will advance. I know that I was hardly controversial. I think I mostly went for logic and the favorites, which is something that I tend to do. Sorry if you were expecting me to come up with some BS answers as to why Lazio is going to advance or something. But again, I am going to be wrong about probably many of these, and we all know that football is the beautiful sport that where anything could happen, and I know that some upsets are gonna happen and some underdogs will come victorious in this stage. Hopefully it does happen, and hopefully I'm wrong about a lot of these. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. I really want to know your thoughts on this whole thing, and I want to know who you think will advance, especially if you disagree with me, because I'd love to see the perspective of somebody who thinks the opposite. So feel free to go to the comment section and just debate and talk football with all the other members as well. I guess soon we'll see how many of these I got right or wrong, but let's just hope we have a great show to watch. As always, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next time. Please take care, and cheers.